I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Buy merch indeed. Shall lead them. My partner in crime, speaking of crime,
It's right here.
I was going to show them my Misery Machine sticker that's now on the back of... That's now on the back. This is now on the back of my computer. It's called the Misery Machine. It's a...
Too bad there wasn't a spot to...
Well, I want to pick it up because everything...
Too bad there wasn't a spot to put on the back of the mic, but...
They're a true crime podcast, and they're the only true crime podcast I listen to.
You know what? I'll tell you what I like about them. So I like true crime stuff because I find it very fascinating, but then I always feel like I just heard this horrible story, blah blah blah. But what they try to do, their goal is to get these stories out and find people that are missing. And so I think that that's great. They're bringing awareness to different situations.
They already participated in a successful
yeah.
find one time. So
that's their goal. And I really like that. Like for me, like there's some meaning behind it. They want to bring some good about in the world. So, you know, their podcast is really good. Their show is really good anyway. It's just, I like the added detail of saying, hey, we're doing this so we can help bring awareness to help, you know, bring people home and situate things. So shout out to them for that.
Yeah. They're really good. They're really good. Oh, I've given out lots of 7s, 5s, and 3s.
Why? What did somebody say you never do?
I've given out 1 as well. All right, guys, here we go. This is song number 3. The name of the band is Tear. The name of the song is
Hold the Heathen Hammer High.
It literally says that. Hold the Heathen Hammer High. This is going to get a 4
Doesn't
from
it feel
me
like the word heathen should be like a bad word? Like if you were to list off.
I don't think actual heathens care about the term heathen. I don't know.
Well, here you go.
Well, either way, they want to hold the hammer high, so let's do it. Hold the Heathen Hammer High by Tear.
Amy Lee, you're right.
Let's do it.
Oh, shoot.
Look at him smiling. Hi. 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 Okay, brother minister. That boy can play. Let's go. I'm not a heathen, though. You can't do that.
These people don't move.
Whoa. Well, she's into that shit, boy. That was worship for her. All right, this is interesting because we're Christians, so we're not gonna hold the Heathen hammer high.
No.
The highlight of our concert experience was
well, it depends on which concert we're talking about.
we were at the what do you call it?
And we may have different highlights.
The Behemoth concert.
Oh, it's when
And he
you
was like, "Hail Satan!" I was like, "Fuck that! Hail Jesus!"
I was like, what? Yes, this is my man.
Gangsters over here, boy.
Oops, sorry.
No fear. Hey, Grimesy, no fear.
Okay, let's
I think,
let me read the intro
Death Fan is the only one that
before we get too far.
knows that. You missed the intro again?
Yes. Yes. Okay, Hold the Heathen Hammer High 2009. Tire comes from the Faroe Islands. Tier. An anonymous territory of Denmark. and are easily the most well-known bands from the island.
Autonomous territory.
Okay, excuse me. It didn't make any sense to me. Hold the Heathen Hammer High is one of the most iconic songs and a staple of any live performance. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Because now, why would it be a staple of any live performance? I don't think that their live performance was very good.
What?
They were just very still.
Well, that's because they were trying to be like perfect with their musicianship.
I see. Okay.
Like
I want to see some action.
Some bands don't really care how they sound live.
Yeah.
And other bands, like I could tell, but you don't know what it's like to play guitar and have to sing. I have singing. I have singing / screaming. I mean, they're monosyllabic screaming duties. Well, there's that one section where I have to like say the whole thing.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, I know. So there's
There's
one part of the song that I really friggin' suck at, and if I practice it by myself, I start feeling like I'm doing really good, but it turns out like my timing will be off or something, and so Vinny will be like, no, the timing's off. So anyway, so Vinny said, hey, let me take over this certain part of the song for you. And I was like, so at first, but then I realized how much more terrible it was because he's like playing the guitar and he's doing that part. I was like, anyway, enough about that.
Okay, no, that part, my part in that song.
Well, but
that's not me taking over. That was, I had that in my head as my part anyway.
Oh,
because it doesn't work.
Talking about the other part.
It doesn't work with the theme of the song if you sing.
Dawn.
In the final cut? No, you're doing that in the final cut.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you've been having to pick up the slack.
You know what the thing is? It's just you get too much in your head, man.
I do.
You overthink shit.
Now, why is that? I'll have to figure that out another day. In the meantime, let's get back to the Heathen Hammer High song. I'm going to pull up the lyrics because I was just watching. I was watching the goodness happen. It sounded like a fast Viking song, right?
Yeah.
It was like very Viking.
War. I saw them twice in Finland. They're one of the best folk Viking metal out there, but their live performances wasn't all that.
Wait, does it annoy you when I say tire instead of tier?
Well, I mean, I want to respect them.
I do
what
too.
I'm saying? Plus, we had a band name by the name of Tier. We had a bandmate.
Oh.
And Tyr was one of the names that he took. And he explained to us that was the god of war. But continue. But go ahead.
Oh, look at this album cover. He's knocking down the cross.
Yeah,
I see.
It's a Viking. Yeah, they got.
Yep.
Obviously, they got serious beef. Although,
Heathen heart, pagan. What?
Although
I would have serious issues as well if I was them.
Here's my problem, though.
What?
I there's a distinction in my mind between pagans and Vikings because not every pagan was a Viking.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so paganism is a religion or a belief system or philosophy or whatever. But Vikings were a very specific group of people. And my thing is, if I'm looking at this right, they were a conquering group of people.
Okay.
I mean, the Vikings did not only go into defensive wars. I mean, they went into offensive wars.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if you're a descendant of those people, how can you be upset at European colonizers? Are you only upset that they beat you? Like, I don't think you don't have a just.
Okay.
In my opinion, you don't have a just case that people treated you unjustly. If you're part of warrior, it's like the Spartans, right?
Well,
their entire culture was centered around war. And I don't know enough about Vikings to say definitively, but from the little that I do know, it seems that these were conquering, seafaring people who mastered warfare, especially as it relates to the sea. Go ahead.
Yeah, but is it that they were Europeans, or is it that they were... Like, if I was a group of people that, Christians came in and wreaked havoc with me, and I knew anything about their belief system, I would have a problem with it. Like, it's not like it's just two groups of people fighting. It's that you were coming in here to push your religion and take our stuff, and
yeah, but they were going.
You're supposed to be a blessing to the world, and look at you.
They were going to other people's place and taking their shit, right? I mean, isn't that what we saw? They were not like
Yeah, but maybe weren't
innocently,
Christians like forcing people to get baptized and drowning them and all kinds of stuff?
I get that.
Maybe that's like the next level thing.
What I'm saying is they were going and raping and pillaging and doing all types of horrible shit to people. The Vikings were. I'm not saying the pagans were, because like I said, you have to make a distinction between Yeah,
I guess I can kind of see what you're saying. I want to argue with you, but I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah, why?
Yeah, the Norse were.
It's not like they were doing anything different than that. Yeah,
they were pretty much colonial settlers in Anglo-Saxon India. Now, I will say that the imposition, the addition of Christianity, where you force these, like I don't think I've ever seen where Vikings. What I know of Vikings, they just go and wreck shop. And, like, they would take your resources. They'd take your women as well. But they would not force you to become pagans, I don't think. I don't think there was enough people around if they conquered you. And I don't really think they cared what your belief system was.
Yeah, what would it matter?
But the imposition of Christianity onto people, to me, seems... I'm offended by that as well as a Christian, obviously.
Oh, that's absolutely.
Why I said, like, I'm making a distinction between the social aspect of them being Viking conquerors and the religious aspect of them being pagans, because those aren't the same thing. They're related, but they're not the same thing, in my opinion. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I would agree with that. Yeah, so I don't really have an answer for that, because I don't really know.
Rob is saying, and again, I can't confirm this at this point, Vikings occupied large parts of the UK. York is a Viking name. So it's like... I understand, like, the imposition of Christianity on unwilling people is horrible, but... It's not like these are, I mean, in modern times, if you would look at these people, we'd say they're horrible. What do you mean? Going assaulting people, taking people's resources? Holy shit. Of course, Americans have no room to say that because that's all we do. Mm-hmm. And we're supposedly a Christian nation.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, because I feel like that's kind of a good point. But isn't that... Yeah, but isn't that what people always do? Like, don't you always get upset with people for doing the things that you do? Like, isn't that human nature?
The Vikings never imposed... Like, I've never heard of a pagan group who imposed paganism onto people. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I'm saying we, even though I'm a Protestant, I'm not going to do this dumb shit. It's the Catholics. We imposed... It wasn't good
Christianity
enough.
and Islam, those are the two groups that have done that, right?
Well, I think there's lots of groups that have done that. But what I know, what I can say definitively is I don't know of any pagan group who enforced paganism onto people. So, like, what I'm saying is the social aspect of going and pillaging and conquering is just a human story. But what is unique about European colonialism, I do think, is the imposition of the Babylonians did the Hellenization was you completely, and then your entire society was completely restructured. But again, that they were I don't think Alexander could be called a pagan proper, right?
Oh, I don't think so either.
Yeah, you can't say that Alexander the Great was so. I'll still maintain that you don't see pagans doing that. Pagans kind of have a live let live type of attitude.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do. I see that. So you think it was just the religious aspect of it that was the trouble?
The religious imposition onto people, yeah. Yeah. Hold the heathen hammer high with the battle cry for the pagan past. I live and one day will die. Hold the heathen hammer high. Never turn away down the wayward way, so far faring strangers stray. Hold the heathen hammer high. So I think there's a difference between celebrating the horrible things that your fathers did and saying we need to maintain our culture and our ways. And I understand that that's a very, very, very fine line.
Yeah. Remember that thing that you said there was...
It's a very fine line.
You were talking about, I think they were like Germans.
Yeah, I had this friend that was in Afghanistan, and they were working with German special forces, and they were like, yo, we've got this thing that we do
every year.
Are we allowed to do it every year? Like, of course. They're like, can we watch? They're like, sure. And part of the ritual was they started goose stepping, which of course is all the Nazis did that. And it's like, well, these guys are warriors. And
what is goose stepping? I don't. Every time you say that, I picture it's a dance.
It's a way that it's a Nazi little thing.
Oh, their formation type things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And all this shit.
That's all I needed to know.
So like,
it sounds like a dance.
So and look, these guys are Germans, and they're the best warriors Germany has to offer. Mm-hmm. And well, guess what? If you're German and you're in your late 20s, early 30s during, Operations Afghanistan, guess what your grandfather and your great-grandfather was? If your grandfather and your great-grandfather was German, he was in the SS, but he was a Nazi. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to tell you. Mm-hmm. So it was crazy because these guys were doing this on American soil, right? It was the Greens, it was American era, whatever. And their fathers and our fathers were killing each other.
Yeah.
And now they're doing this ritual. It was just this crazy thing. Mm-hmm. And of course the commander let it go. And all the guys knew. All the guys were cool. They loved, obviously, going to war with each other. They loved each other. And they let it pass. But the guy said it was one of the most beautiful. He said it was one of the most beautiful things he'd ever seen. And of course, I'm not going to name it. He's got a kind of recognizable name. I'm not going to name him, but I understand.
Yeah.
Because you're honoring your fathers, and the Bible says honor your father and mother. And I'm sure they're saying what they did was horrible, yada, yada, yada. Of course. They're not going to say we support everything that they did. But at the same time, if you're German, those are your fathers, you're going to celebrate it. I don't care what anybody says. And I don't think that that's wrong in the way that they did it. They didn't do it on public TV. They didn't do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're warriors. That's their tradition. That's their ways. It is what it is. Yeah. People are upset at it. They can do whatever they want with it. So,
boy, I don't know.
But see, what's the difference, though, between celebrating Viking culture? Go ask the, and I'm not saying it's exactly the same thing, but go tell the people in the village, or go tell the women that were about to be raped that, these guys really they're not really bad people. We're celebrating Viking culture. You got TV shows called Viking. These dudes were raping and pillaging all over the place.
True. That is true.
What would have happened if they would have showed up? Let's say you were in a village. Look at you. What do you think would have happened?
I would have killed them. All of them.
You see what I'm saying, though?
No, babe, I know what you're saying. I'll tell you why I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable because in America, my forefathers and what they did can't be celebrated, right? And we don't even want them celebrated.
Well, that's not true. You go to the South, you get Confederate flags all over the place.
Right.
You got fucking monuments.
Okay, right, mean? Exactly. Of course they can be celebrated. Okay, I'm talking about me personally, I guess. Personally. So I didn't realize all the goings on. I didn't know all of the, especially when you want to talk about like Jonathan Edwards. Here he was, a Christian, a pastor, somebody that we were looking toward. Nobody ever told me that he owned slaves. Nobody ever. Slavery.
Holy shit. The Nazis borrowed most of their occult stuff from Norse culture. Holy shit. But again, that kind of goes to my point. Go ahead, what were you saying? Yeah, but Jonathan Edwards has whole conferences and libraries and shit named after him. So
right,
he's
but I'm
celebrated.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, on my own personal journey, I don't celebrate any of those things, and I certainly don't celebrate the way that it was hidden. Like, if he was, it would have been so much better to say, you know what, Jonathan Edwards, he was a racist, and he had slaves, and he bought one for like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did I what?
How did you know about Jonathan Edwards? You were not very familiar with Jonathan Edwards until you met
No, I had just heard here and there.
Yeah, if you're in the Northeast, you're going to hear about Edwards because it's Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God.
I had heard of that.
But he wasn't like a staple of your upbringing. It's not like you had him as some hero.
No, but you pick any of them.
I'm the one that exalted Jonathan Edwards.
You can also pick, that is true. You are but I did hear about him before you.
You knew that George Washington owned slaves. You didn't care.
No, I didn't really know that. Like, honestly, you're the one that talked to me about all that stuff. I didn't really realize any of that stuff.
Yeah, but you really didn't care that your forefathers owned slaves. You really didn't until a couple of years
Honest to goodness, I didn't think that any of like the leaders did. I thought that was like, you know, plantation owners, but I didn't think any of the presidents did.
There's that Christian homeschooling.
Honestly, but the curriculum we had really went out of its way to hide that and to say other things that were not true. But so, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, I have a completely different feel for the 4th of July now. I have a completely different feel about, you know, Columbus. I have a different feel for, you know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Listen to this. According to Ibn Khaldun, the Rus, who were Norse, practiced ritual gang rape of slaves. The Norse had their own version of sati, where female slaves would be burned alive with a deceased chieftain. Ibn Khaldun is a Muslim, I'm assuming, who would probably...
Yeah, Adam, exactly.
He probably has a lot of motives in saying that, you know, to justify, hey, this is why we did this to these people. But it's just like when you talk about Native culture, like, it's not like the Native Americans were like, when we saw that movie, and it wasn't based on like actual history. What was the name of that movie? It was the Passion of the Christ guy, Mel Gibson.
Yeah, but I don't remember
Apocalyptico. And it was that Indian guy or the native guys. Remember, it was a native India in America, and the guy was running for his life for the entire show. And then they hit the beach, and then you see the colonizers coming at the end of the show.
Yes,
like there was one Native American group basically raping and pillaging the other group, and this one guy survived. So he's running for the entire movie. Is basically this guy running for his life, and he escapes, and then the bad guys see him. And then they're coming for him, and then they all turn around, and then they see these ships, and it's us, it's European Christians, and it's like that was a very powerful movie because it was like, holy shit, like so that's what I'm saying. It's like all of us are horrible people, man. And so anytime you celebrate your fathers or your forefathers or your ancestors, you are going to be celebrating some horrible practice.
Exactly.
So, like, you have to. Now, how you celebrate that is a very interesting debate. I think that pretty sure it was GSG guys, I think they did it the right way. Which is, it's a very, very specific subculture. You guys are warriors. They can't do that in Germany on TV.
Yeah.
You cannot do that shit on television.
Yeah. Right?
But I love the way that they did that. Whereas in America, they're like, oh, we'll build a fucking monument to you. Yeah, you had slaves, you raped them, you took out their teeth and used them for your own and all the rest of this shit. Like, good night. Even in the Old Testament, if you broke a slave's tooth, he would go free.
Right.
These motherfuckers are making dentures out of people. Like, that should not be publicly celebrated that way. But then I'm contradicting myself.
You're okay with like...
I'm contradicting myself because this is the band who's saying we need to... But again, they did not say in this song, we need to go and rape and pillage. They didn't say that. What they talked about was their old ways, specifically about paganism, which is their religion, which was lost on them when we showed up and did all this horrible shit to them. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm saying, like, that's why I made that dichotomy at the very, very beginning. And I understand it's a very hard line. It's a very thin line.
It's a very, very thin line. And I got to tell you, I feel very uncomfortable with those German people doing that.
Yes.
In secret, even. That almost to me makes it like I don't know. Would I rather them have would I rather them have a statue up, or would I rather the Ku Klux Klan meeting in secret and us not knowing about it?
I would not compare those soldiers to the KKK. That's not the same thing. You can't...
Well, those soldiers... Okay, wait a minute. Maybe I'm getting my history mixed up. Aren't those soldiers the ones that got all of those Jews into the concentration camps, or am I mixing up two things?
Right. What I'm saying is, they would say what their fathers did was wrong and condemn it. But they're still going to participate in it as an ode to their fathers who were warriors, and they're the inheritors of that warrior tradition. But they would say, no, what our fathers did to those Jewish people was wrong, and we would fight them if we could. That's not what's happening with the KKK. The KKK is saying, when we lynched them daggers and all that was the right thing to do. That's not the same thing.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, okay. I can see some difference there.
So,
all right, yeah. Still uncomfortable a little bit with it.
But yeah, like, I understand. But that's why, like I said, I made the distinction between
But see, when I hear the
Vikings
song,
are romanticized. Alexander the Great is romanticized. Who's the other guy? The Mongolian dude.
Oh, the one where Genghis Khan,
and all these people were horrible people.
Yeah,
they did terrible shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, when I hear this song, I don't think about. I never think about. Whenever I think of the Viking stuff, I always think of the shows you and I have watched together and how I think you would make a very badass Viking. I never think about them going in and raping girls and all of that stuff. Like, but that is there, because if I think about that, I'll hate the Vikings. I'll go shave off Orion's hair right now.
Correct. The Moors were also horrible people, and they were black. And they were also slave-raiding colonial settlers. This is what I'm saying is this is human.
Oh, we did, Adam. I loved it.
She loved it.
I did.
And who picked the fight with who? The Vikings or the Christians? Who started that fight?
I thought the Christians did, right?
What?
I don't remember.
No, they came over and did all that shit.
The Vikings were
like, the Christians like, what y'all doing? Let's sit down and eat. They're like, yeah, we're going to sit down and we're going to take all your shit, my guy. So, my point, the moral of the story is, you have to honor your fathers, but if you honor your fathers were horrible sinners. And so, if you look a little bit beneath the surface, I don't give a fuck if there are African fathers, Arab fathers, Viking fathers, Norwegian fathers, European fathers, Jewish fathers, whatever they were fucking bad, I guarantee you that. The minute they got into any sort of power, they did horrible, evil shit to their neighbors and other people, I guarantee you that. And how anybody can look at any form of history and deny original sin is beyond me. To me, the evidence for original sin is stronger than the evidence for God.
I would, really, really. Yeah, because there's so many examples of it. Yeah.
It's not that there's so many examples. It's literally every single time a human group gets into power, they do horrific shit. Literally... It's 100 for 100.
Yeah.
like
Perk said, every culture has skeletons in their closet.
But here's the beauty of original sin. If you assume that, then you have rooms for honoring your ancestors.
Yeah.
So even though they were horrible people, you have to say, yeah, but I still got to honor them.
Well, there was their thing, yeah.
You got to honor them. So I have no problem with these people honoring their ancestors.
Yeah, well, I mean, in our theology, you've got original sin, so they're going to do stuff that's bad, they're going to do stuff that's horrible, but then there's also God gives grace to everybody, so then you can look for the grace in your ancestors and say, oh, okay, well, this is where... Well,
the same God who says that your ancestors are all rotten sinners also said honor your father and mother.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, you have to honor, but you have to honor them. So they have to honor their fathers. However they do it, they're going to have to do it. And that's in everybody's soul. Mm-hmm. Now, does it come out the right way all the time? No. I don't think it comes out the right way all the time, because you got to do a lot of real thinking to find a way to honor your fathers and at the same time realistically, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's very difficult to do.
Yeah,
so, anyway, shout out to Tyr. I'm not going to raise the heathen hammer because I'm a Christian. So, I'm not going to do that. Yahweh created Thor. I believe that. Or Odin. Whoever. I believe that. And so... As do I. I believe there's an Odin running around up there. Or Baal or whoever. It's either that or it's a copy from what they saw. Because, you got El had his son Baal rides the clouds, all that. And Yahweh, he's got a son, and his son rides the clouds. And all that. Mm-hmm. But that's a different discussion.
An interesting one.
9.5 for May. I understood why they were kind of stationary on the guitar thing, because that's one of the reasons I scored them so high, because sonically they were damn near perfect on guitar, and I knew what they were doing. I understand they weren't jumping around and all the rest of it, but they wanted, especially on this song, I think they wanted to make sure that their shit was tight so they could represent their folks.
If it's... Yeah, I can't just go on your theory like that. But if I was, that would definitely be a thing, because I can totally understand wanting something to be excellent. Like when I'm in the kitchen and I'm trying to cook an excellent meal, don't come in and try to talk to me.
Right.
All the kids go to the living room.
Right.
So my mom presentation is probably is not very great when I'm trying to make an excellent meal. Everybody go out. There's too many people talking, fighting, tripping. So if that's what it is, then I'd give them a higher score. But I don't know if that's what it was.
Everybody take
that could be your opinion. So I'll go with a 9.1.
All right, there you are, dear listener. Very interesting conversation. I'm certain that people are going to be angry in the comment section.
Oh,
and not
without
think with
a doubt.
nuance. Oh, you just said that because you're Christians. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.